Good morning and welcome to A Closer Look. I'm your host, Linda Fontaine. Today my special guest is Mayor Pat Shull, Kingsport City Mayor. We love having Pat on. He's always got good information for us. Thanks for being here today, Pat.
Thank you and Happy New Year.
Well, Happy New Year to you too. And yeah, we've got a lot to talk about. Let's talk about how this new year is going to be for Kingsport, things that have happened last year and what we can look forward to this year. So let's start off. What are you thinking about? I saw in the paper today something about sales tax growth. Tell me about that.
Well, let me say, sort of like I learned in the Army, sometimes you give a briefing, you do bottom line up front. I think the bottom line is that considering the pandemic, this past year was a good year. And considering we're still in a pandemic, 2021 shapes up to be pretty good. Now, sales tax is an example of that. I've been mayor now 2.5 years, and our sales tax keeps going up in terms of what we project it to be, and more than what the previous similar month had been. For example, the sales tax report that's in today's paper covers October 2021. So when you compare it to October 2020, we did a lot better, and the countywide did a lot better. But one thing I'd like to point out also is, people sometimes will go from Kingsport up to Bristol to shop, but our sales tax revenue is still more than twice that of what Bristol's is, and which makes sense because we're more than twice the size of Bristol, population-wise. But there is another catch to this, is that we have been doing real well based on the state a few years ago figuring out how to capture sales tax revenue from online sales. So when I say we the government have been, if you order something from online from far away and it comes in, we still get our share. But what concerns me is it'd be better for all concerned in Kingsport if you could buy it locally, because we'd support our local business, the government would still get its share, and that money would it would be spread around throughout the community better.
Very good. So you guys have some new digs too, I see. You guys.
Well, we moved into the new City Hall, and that's really working out real well, and it's able to consolidate 4 buildings worth of city workers into one, which just makes it more efficient, effective. You can walk down the hall now and see somebody face to face, rather than worrying about doing a Zoom or getting in a car and driving over and all that. It's also a nice place to bring people who are considering moving here, particularly businesses. It's just a more impressive building to come into. It gives people a good impression right off, and the old saying is you only have one chance to make a good first impression.
That's right. And that's in the old Regents building, right across from the library, for those that might not be familiar with where your new digs are.
Yeah, right off the church circle.
Right. It is a very nice building. I really do like that. Yeah, you're right. First impressions are important, especially when you're trying to bring people to the city. And
ever so often I ask the city manager, Chris McCart, and our director of economic development to come on in and see me. He's John, and they'll come in and talk to me about the things that we can't talk about in public. And why can't we talk about them in public? Because a business is still making up their mind what they want to do, and we can't violate their confidence and all that. But I tell you, if some of the things that they briefed me on actually transpired, just half of it, we'd be that farther ahead, so to speak. So there's always people that are interested in moving to Kingsport.
Yeah.
I noticed on Facebook, there's a lot of people saying, well, why don't we have 2 Chick-fil-A's?
I know.
Well, a lot of people would like a second Chick-fil-A, and I understand that, but we've discussed it with Chick-fil-A. It's not their corporate strategy, and they're not beholden to share their corporate strategy with us. They're happy about having 1 Chick-fil-A. So we'll continue to pursue that and similar type things. I offer that as an example, but some people have this idea the city has some kind of control over Rush Street closing or Shoney's closing, and we don't,
Yeah, that's funny. No, I get that. I recognize what you're saying. Yeah, that's more of a private corporation kind of thing.
Yeah.
But that is interesting, though, what you said about Chick-fil-A, because I always wonder, how come, surely another one would do well here, not real, I know that's something you guys aren't in control of, but that's interesting that you shared that that's their corporate decision to only have one here.
Right.
It's interesting. I didn't know that. Well, something I want to talk about is the celebration this year of Bays Mountain Park. 50 years.
Yeah, it was a great year for Bays Mountain. And I hope it'll mean some more fundraising for the Bays Mountain Association to help keep the park up. The city's spent some considerable amount of money in upgrading various aspects of the park. We're putting in a new trail there. We're upgrading some of the technical equipment inside the facility. It's just a great venue for people to come. And again, some people say, well, what do we have for young folks to do? Well, we have a lot for them to do if they come up to Bays Mountain.
Yes, let's get our youth outside more.
Yeah.
And we have Bays Mountain, we have Warriors, we have some great parks around here, and I feel so blessed that we have Bays Mountain. I love going up there all the time. The trails are fantastic, and like you said, they're opening new trails this year, and that's awesome.
Some of the money we spent in upgrading the theater, so it's not all outdoor activity. It's we're also Eastman gave us $500,000 to help build a new amphitheater up at Bays Mountain.
That's pretty cool.
And the city's going to put in another $500,000 plus, and it's going to be a great facility.
Oh yeah, that'd be fantastic. Well, let's talk a little bit about the never-ending woes of the streets. Now they're improving. I remember when you were elected, people were complaining a lot about potholes, and you said, "Oh, we'll take care of that." And there is some work being done on those.
People call me from time to time, or they email me about their street. If you're an individual and you live, in this part of town, and you go to work in this other part of town, and you get into a traffic pattern, and maybe you don't fully appreciate how well we've improved overall. You ought to keep in mind that Kingsport has 53 square miles. Our square mileage of our city is as big as San Francisco's. So we have a lot of area to take care of, and I think a fair assessment would be that we've continued to improve. We've spent more money on potholes and paving and so forth. It's been a continual upgrade since I became mayor.
I love it. Very good. So much to talk about. For instance, Cement Hill's being worked on still.
Yeah, the goats.
The goats. I love the goats.
The goats, once it got real cold, the goats, we gave them some time off, but they were clearing all that kudzu and all that. And Cement Hill eventually is going to become a nice park. And remember, right down from Cement Hill, we're putting in the new skate park and the new bicycle park. And that's where we've spent some considerable money toward. So the new Scott Adams State Park will be even much nicer than the old one. And then we add in this bicycle pump track, and there's some things for young people to do.
Well, we've begun construction, I think, on the new firefighter training facility, right?
Yep. Okay. It's coming along, probably along about March it'll be ready. And as an old Army guy, we used to say that if it's not raining, you're not training, but training's a big deal. You want your firefighters to do things, and your police to do things instinctively, because they've trained over and over and over for these dangerous situations. And this is just going to enhance their ability to respond effectively to a dangerous fire situation.
Now, something I'm very proud of, I know you are too, is Dobbins Bennett. Now, they've been recognized as like a top 5% high school, is that right?
Yeah, they have. Yeah. And I included that in my update. I do a weekly update. And by the way, if citizens want to be on my weekly update list, all they need to do is just contact me at City Hall and ask to be put on the list. And so there's probably several thousands that see this in between me sending it out and people seeing it on Facebook.
Well, how can people get on your update list?
Just call City Hall.
Okay.
2299400.
Okay. Yes, and if not, you can always Google it. But that is
Yeah.
a really neat thing that you do, that update. I
Yeah.
get that every
Yeah.
week, and it's a good way to keep people up to date on what's going on with the city. I really appreciate that you do that.
When you bring up Dobbins Bennett, though, I guess what I think back on is the fact that the new roof is going to cost over $5 million for
Wow.
DB. And it's inflation. That's my biggest concern going into this new year is inflation.
Yeah, that's something to be mindful of, that's for sure. Anything else you want to touch on?
Well, gee, there's so much.
There is. I want to talk about Connect Kingsport real quick. That's
Okay.
one way for people to keep up to date with things is this new, I see I've got it on my pen, Connect Kingsport. It's KingsportTN.gov. It's a new app you have, right?
Right. I got it on my phone, and
You can go to the App Store. You can search, Kingsport, and do it that way. Or you can go on our website and you can get it has instructions as to how to get on the Connect. But it's really worked out well. People,
they spot a pothole.
we can address a pothole pretty quickly. They can call it in
If they drive by and they see a house on fire, I mean, they can call it in real fast with this Connect Kingsport.
Yeah, it's just an app, and you just go straight to the app, and you just put the information right there, and it goes straight to.
Or
It
maybe
takes
you
out
see
the
an
middleman.
accident on the street. I mean, it's a great thing.
Yeah, see, Connect Kingsport. I love it. Well, Pat, I really appreciate you coming here today and updating us on things. You need to come every few months because you are a font of information. I appreciate it, and you'll be at the meeting this afternoon. Isn't there a Republicans of Kingsport meeting at noon at Food City on Clinchfield? So you'll be there. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Appreciate being here.